All right, we're live. Here we go. All right. People watching, Tom here, Flip Anything USA, and I got a great guest here. This is a new series of Flip Anything US alumni, students that have been in the class here for years, and are doing really well. And Josh is no exception. He's just been a fantastic student. How long's it been, Josh?
It's probably my time is up, but it's probably been 3 years. Whenever you started, it was right around the time that you were just getting rolling, I think. Was that about 2022?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think 3 years.
Uh, Wait a minute, what's going on here? We got a problem. Sorry, we're having a problem with what's going on here. Son, check the channel. Something's weird. Something's wrong here. We're good, son. Tell me if we're shit. I'm
Let me
getting.
check. I gotta.
No, no, you're good. We're getting an error here, but I see people falling off. Are the hey viewers? Let me know that you see us because I'm getting an indication that you're not. Unfortunately, we we on, son? Okay. All right, we'll start over. So we'll just start here. I'll cut it up later. Anyways, live YouTube here. We got Flip Anything USA alumni. These are student stories. Josh happened to reach out to me yesterday right after just doing a video with Chris, who's also somebody that's hit that seven figures mark, and so is Josh. Josh is. We like to be cryptic here. We don't like to give away our honey hole where we're working exactly, but. And that's a reminder, of course, Josh. But hey, Josh, thanks for coming in here and tell us what's going on with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. Pleasure as always. Just working on a spec home I just finished building. It's been on the market 10 days, and I priced it at what I think is a good price. But after looking at it a little closer, there's 30 similar properties in my small area. I got a population here of about 10,000 people, but a lot of the influx of buyers either comes from out of state or the bigger peripheral cities. But things are slow. From what I see, we've had one close here in the past 3 months.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
So when you text me, first thing I said was leapfrogging, chapter 24, and
yeah,
those of you that hear, I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, and I wrote that book, and that's what started this all. But yeah, we're in a time where money's tight, and even though the interest rate's dropping, it's nothing to be excited about at all. What people don't realize, and I've seen this happen, probably 3 or 4 times over the last 40 years I've been doing this. As soon as the interest rates start to go down, nobody does anything. All they do is wait to see what the momentum is for that, for that continuation. And it doesn't matter if it dropped to half a point. That's not enough to change anything. That's not going to make anything really affordable compared to where we were 2.5, 3 years ago. So so where I'm at on this is, I would leapfrog on your deal right away. And the bottom line is, if you go down, leapfrogging, by the way, is what we do is we kind of broadcast or project where we think the market's going to be in about 3 months, if it's going down, and I believe it is going down right now. And so we jump ahead and mark it down so that we're ahead of everybody else. Like if everybody's at, because what happens is everybody will take turns dropping $5,000-$10,000, all 30 of you, right? So
yeah,
you got to use biggest balls and jump ahead of everybody and go down like 30 grand, okay,
yep,
considerably more, and then by jumping up 30,000, now you're the best deal on the market, and that will immediately attract attention, and then there might even be a tiny bid war where it'll bid up a little bit over what you put it at, and then you just pick the the one that's going to close between those two, and then boom, get it locked up, tied up, and sold. Now, while you're selling your property, right about the time you'll get it sold, if it's a 30, 40-day escrow or a 60-day escrow, whatever, by the time you get that sold, everybody else will have taken turns and will approaching to what your price is now again. And then the game is going to be leapfrog from there and jump another 30 down. So I've done this many times, and there's no question that that's where we are at right now. And, the interest rate finally going down is a good sign. But right now, interest rates are about 3% less than what they are right now. And so we're not going to get a 3% drop, but people are making more money that are working. And I was kind of doing the math on this the other day. Average families are making about $1,200 more per year than they were previously. And so that takes up a little bit of the room for not having to go quite down as far as the rate dropping. But I think things got to drop about 1.5 points before it's going to be, kind of going back to the old days a little bit. And you'll see the values go up quite a bit. I bought 6 houses in the last 14 months, and I bought them all under market like we do. But even buying them under market, I've got about a 6 cap, which is not tremendous, but it's okay. But I fully expect, I could sell them and make money on them today, but you have to buy $100,000, 100 to 150,000 under market is what you have to off of a $400,000 to $450,000 home. If you don't buy it 100, 150 off market, you're not going to get a 6 cap. That's the only way you can get a 6 cap. And so I'm getting a 6 cap on that. Meanwhile, the interest rates are dropping a little bit. At some point, I think we'll kind of be back to where we were 2.5 years ago, and then I'll make another $100,000 on top of the margin that I already have on these houses that I have. That's what I'm playing with right now.
Yeah, and it's funny, two points. As soon as I listed my house, 2 other properties got listed, and then multiple others dropped their price by, a considerable amount right when mine came on. Because mine is a nicer house. It's got good concrete patios. It's on a bigger lot. It's got a bunch of upgrades. But the people moving out here, their upgrades only go so far. They're looking for rural type properties. They want to live a certain type of way. Yeah. The other point I was going to make is I would be sitting pretty and not care as much, but after the sale of my last home, I found a screaming deal on some land, and I know that now, as you know, and I don't know if all the viewers know, but I'm primarily came up doing land and have now moved into spec houses. And what I found now doing spec houses is I need a backlog of inventory if I want to keep things rolling. So I used the profits from my last house to buy land. If I didn't buy that land, I wouldn't care. I'd be willing to, or care as much. I'd be willing to let this house sit a little longer. But from what I'm seeing, I just want to, I'm thinking I might just leapfrog and take the hit, but survive.
Psychologically, it's hard to do, but it's really not. If you do it enough times, it's not hard to do. Just do it, because what'll happen is, if it's worth it, there'll be a little bid war between the couple people that are interested in it, and you'll get it for somewhere above what you put it on the market for, but less than everybody else. And that's what I would tell you to do. But it's funny because when Josh says spec homes, he's not building these, correct? You're not building these. These are modulars you're putting together, right?
Yep.
Yeah, modular homes. So, and not to, for me as a builder, just discerning the difference. Modular homes, right? Is that what you call them there, or what do you call them? Pre-built, or what do you call these homes?
They're technically manufactured homes, but they're called manufactured homes. They're on a stem wall, they got proper footers and all that, but bottom line, yeah, they are. And they got 2x6 construction. They're a lot nicer than they used to be, but yeah, sure. They are putting 2 pieces together. I'm not bogged down with 15 subs and relying on every one of them.
No, believe me. No, I just wanted to discern what we're talking about. So
yeah.
and so that's what he's competing with, is other people that are putting similar homes from similar factories, same factories, I'm sure.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, the uniqueness, and listen, in California, when I was building homes, we'd go up, and this is how I made a lot of money too. I bought 60, 70 lots. I went in as a builder. I went the other way. I built 3 homes, and I was getting $100 a foot, 1,700 square foot homes. I was selling them for $170,000, and I was making $70,000 on a house. And back then, I could build a house start to finish, plans, everything in 90 days. But what happened for me was kept getting good deals on lots, and I had competition like you have. But I was competing. I was taking most of the inventory with the lots. And then one day I sold 3 lots and I made $60,000. I thought, you know what? I ain't going to build no more. And I just focused on selling my lots to the builders. And I made a lot more money that way, and I made it a lot easier. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to build the home. You're buying it pre-made. I didn't even want to supply the home at that point.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
And I have a similar sentiment. Like, I like the chase. It's good money. It's easy to do. I am good at land, and I have, my area on lock. Like, I know everything about it with land. But I do like how easy land is. Part of me is tempted. I know.
Yeah.
It's like you just buy right.
And I'm glad you said that. And Josh does have some special skill sets, in as much as he knows the land, he knows what's required, he understands the flood map, he understands, perk tests, and, because there's all this stuff comes into play. Also, where to drill a well. And some places it's plentiful. It's not a big deal drilling a well. In a lot of places, not a big deal putting in a septic field. But if you get a tiny lot, and there's things that factor in that can make it very difficult to build when you don't have those things. And but you're in an area where it's a little bit more forgiving, but you know your stuff very well. In fact, people consult with him because he is so sharp at what he does in the area that he's in. And but yeah, so since we last talked, because I've even considered doing some partnership stuff with Josh. That's what's so great. I say this all the time. My students are the best people I can possibly collaborate with, because they've become peers in a few short years, and they're becoming specialists at what they do. And so you got this land. Now, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? You got this land, but you're a little bit hamstrung because you can't do anything with it at the moment, right? Can't turn it into money, or can you flip the lots, or are you going to have a similar?
I could flip the lots. I put a well on one. I put a septic on another, in anticipation for, I'm trying, and I have a line of credit now. I don't know if we mentioned that since we last talked. So my plan was to start building the next house while this one's being, waiting to sell. But now, I'm conservative, so I don't want to dip into my line of credit really. Anyway, so I could flip them, but then I'm out of inventory. Plus, I'll pay short-term capital gains on them, which makes it almost feel not worth it.
Yeah, I love it. These are rich people problems. It's very good. It's
for
good.
sure. I mean, like, I may make a decent profit, but then I'm going to be. I don't mean this in its entirety, but I'm kind of sick of hunting. I want to, don't get me wrong. I love the chase and all that, but it would be nice to just have. I don't know. I just don't want to chase more land.
Well, I understand. What happens is you don't mind chasing it. I think you love the chase as long as you're selling it as fast as you chase it. But when you start to become holding inventory, it just economics. You're going, hey, you know what? I can't. I'm running out of money, right? Isn't that really what we're
and add to and add to that. Those 30 houses that I mentioned on the market are attached to other guys, who are coming into the market, and there's just oversaturation. So they're buying the land too. So I'm trying to find land. They're paying more than I would ever pay and stuff like that. So
and that may be your niche a little bit, is that you can actually afford. Hey, you're going to probably get the best lots because you know what you know, but you're going to get them for less price. So you could sell a property for probably $20,000 less, maybe, or something like that, and still make the same because you made it on the purchase, correct?
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm considering instead of. So I'm kind of going in my head. I think I've decided to leapfrog this house. But at the same time, I have lots that I could offload to give me a surplus of cash to roll on, carry me till, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm probably, I'm not going to go broke or anything, but there's a certain amount, we've talked about this. I'm at a level where I feel uncomfortable without having a certain amount in the bank,
Absolutely.
and I'm below that amount right now.
Right.
So I could offload some lots, but another thought I'm having is leapfrog this house and then pivot down to a lower, for lack of a better phrase, lower class home after this and start trying to pump houses out at with those lots that I have at 300K, or instead of 380, go to 300 or something like that.
Yeah. So tell me, is there any reason you can't? Like, I agree. I just get rid of it because, like I always say, you can't get hurt making a profit. I say that at the class all the time.
Yep.
Because you hold out, and then sometimes you're holding out for tougher times, and then you really screw yourself. But is there any reason you can't fire sale this or leapfrog this, get rid of it? How much inventory do you have now? How many lots roughly?
A bunch, but the ones that are ready for houses would be six.
Wow. Wow. And then you got a bunch of raw land that you haven't quite improved yet or split and
Yeah.
divided and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you're fixed on inventory really well. Maybe you can do everything but supply the house, right? In other words, have it like, it's like a custom home. In other words, you go out there and, your Josh's Custom Homes, and you find a prospect and you say, well, look, let me show you one of the homes I built in the area, but let me tell you why this lot's special and better than all the competition. And now we'll get you the home you want. You just order it, right? Order them what they want. But
Right.
also you've got, you know what I mean? That way it's a little safer. You can get their money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because, go ahead.
Oh, I totally agree. It's a great idea. And I will, I'll do whatever's necessary, but I'm trying to move away from dealing with people. And when you get it, my experience, because having that consulting company, I've had to firsthand look at some of this, and sometimes you get a customer, and then the requests never stop. It's a huge headache to the point where you're
You garbled a
the
little
money's
bit.
just not sometimes worth it.
We didn't quite hear what you said.
Yep.
Say that again about the customer does what?
Yeah, they become very demanding when you're building them their own home, and then sometimes the headaches aren't worth the money.
Oh yeah. No, I sold
From what I've seen.
Yeah, I sold one home as a real estate agent.
Not saying it's
and that was all the emotion I could handle. I don't want to ever deal with that again. It's too emotional for them, right?
yeah. Yep. And people, I mean, the whole reason I'm moving this direction is so I can not talk to people and not deal with people anymore.
Right.
Unless I have to, unless there's a value exchange.
Well, they have a wallet, so you kind of have to put up with it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I'm not opposed to it.
Let me read some of these questions coming in, or comments here. Glad, hey guys, sorry, I got for whatever reason, I'm glad the stream's working well, and it really is looking quite good on this end. The audience, tell me too if overall it looks pretty good. I think sharp. This is new, so the picture's sharp. I'm really happy so far. Chris, Chris is listening, and Land is on Land too. It's kind of funny because Chris has kind of become more of a land guy too, and he's done really well. A little bit different area, but he's done really, really well. But I was thinking about you yesterday when I was talking to Chris. I interviewed Chris yesterday, and but he's listening. He says land is easy. And Richard wrote, choose your pain, a little pain today or a lot of pain tomorrow. Hopium. Hopium, does that mean hope? Hopium is a bad strategy. I got you. Take your loss or little profit quickly, as Tom says. You can't get hurt taking a profit. Yeah, Richard, agree on a lot of that. I never heard of hopium, but it reminds me of the UFOs and unobtainium.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's like what's nice about tough times like this, and I call them tough times. I've been making money in these tough times. Chris, made 50 grand yesterday, and he's doing other things. It slows you down a little bit, and you have to be a little more cautious. And like you said, you went into this expecting things to sell a little quicker than they do, and you kind of get a dose of reality. Things aren't selling as quick, and then you see the inventory build up. But your hedge is that you bought your property right, and you know what I mean, that you can actually afford to. But that's kind of flexing your muscle by selling it under market. You know what I mean? And you might as well do it.
Yeah, and it's only been on market 10 days. My last house, I always planned for my house to sell in 3 months, and it always has. Not that, I mean, this will only be my second house, but I sold that house 6 months ago. So it's only been 10 days, but I'm just getting a feeling. You know what I mean? I just want to.
But you have your ear to the ground, man. Listen, it's like all of us that are working our areas, we know the area better than anybody. And so when you tell me that, like when you told me that two people immediately dropped their price as soon as yours came on the market, right? They're probably afraid of you. They probably know you. They know you. And they probably even know your property. Yeah. And they're going, oh, crap, that one's on the market. You know what I mean? They already know theirs isn't as good. Possibly. And am I right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mine has I have a 50-gallon-a-minute well. It's a better property and a better house. And my photos are awesome and all this stuff. It's got upgrades. But yeah, they know me and they know it's a better house. So, I mean, I probably do a lot of their permits, to be honest with you, in that consulting business. I mean, I don't ever nobody knows. I mean, they probably look me up, but I try to keep secret on who I am.
Sure.
Yeah, they find out.
Right. Right. And Josh he's like I said, he's got some special skills when it comes to land, and besides knowing the place area better than anybody. But I forgot, what was your degree of specialty? It's engineering at something, right?
Yeah, it's geology, basically.
Geology, okay.
A type of geology, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I did a lot of hydrology in relation to engineering, construction, and stem walls and stuff like that for this local area.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking it'll a lot. If I get out from under this too, don't get me wrong, I'll still make a great profit.
Sure.
More, 60 grand or something. But it'll allow me also to pivot to those other lots that I got a steal on and maybe do basically a cheaper home and sell it for cheaper and hit that 290, 300 mark to where I'm just smoking everybody.
Sure. No, I like it. It's funny because when I see the growing pains of you, I see the growing pains of Chris and others, and it just takes me back to when I was going through like a land phase, you know what I mean? And I started buying everything, and I bought a lot of land, and then times started going bad, to be honest, and I was like, oh man, I got a lot of property. I got to get rid of some of this stuff. And then in my situation, I sold a lot of properties where I took a second, because I got properties for $10,000 with $2,000 down, and then I was selling them for $30,000, and I'd get $10,000 down. I'd take a second for $12,000, and they'd assume the first. But it put me in the second position, where I already made 10 grand, but I'm holding 12, and then all of a sudden they stop making their payment to me, and they say, hey, we can't make the payment. We'll just give it back to you. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want it either. How about you? I'll shine off, and you just go ahead and keep paying on that first, and you can have it for throw it on the first. And I did that with several people, and they were very happy because it made the difference in them being able to keep it. Other people were like, no, man, we can't do it no matter what. And I'm like, okay. And some of them I took back, others I didn't. But again, I tried to sell them, and but whatever. It's going to happen. It's going to happen sometime. But what's nice is that you are in a position that it doesn't clobber you. You know what I mean? You've got your way
right.
Out. And one of the ways out is get rid of that house, get rid of the one you got. You know what I mean? You got too much competition, and you got your advantage, what you got, and even you have income. Are you still as busy as being a consultant?
No, it's basically super dead, but I just did get about 12 jobs. That's what happens. It'll be dead, and then I'll just get 12 jobs right away or something. So, and I've decided not to, like I said, I don't like dealing with people, so I only deal with select customers, and I charge them a premium, and I'll only deal with them really, which are other developers, like the big dogs in the area.
Sure.
At least big dogs for my particular field. And then I still have all the income from all my notes on land from a while ago. So all my living costs are covered.
That's so great.
But what's funny is speaking of land, I called on a house the other day just because it's a nice looking house and I'm looking to get into an area with more land because I sold all the land around where I live and now they're building houses around me to people that some of my clients. And anyway, I called on this house and the guy tried to do a subdivision. It just happened to be, we started getting talking. He's another investor. It's a $1 million house, but it's on 800 acres and he's splitting the 800. He tried to do a subdivision. It got denied. And so he's doing what's called wildcatting in our area. You can split infinitely as long as the lots are 36 acres or greater. And so he's going to just do that instead. So he's like, yeah, come out. I'm trying to get out from under this property. He didn't say that directly, but that's between the lines.
Explain a little bit more on that wildcatting. Is the restrictions that you can split anything like in two, or is it, and then you can split it again, but you can't split it in 4s or 8s or 10s?
Correct. It's basically our area holds that you can only split a lot to create 5 contiguous lots thereafter.
Okay. So he could break his 400 acres into 580s is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, no, he could. So there's a caveat to that law here, which holds that if the lot is 36 acres or greater, you can split it as many times as you want.
Oh.
So he's taken that 800 acres and he's going to split it into 22 36-acre lots.
Oh, okay.
And what that allows, so like, let's say I pick that up, I could split it into 3 10.33s or whatever the math shakes out to. And, or whatever, and he's already put a chip sealed road through it, which is good in this rural area.
Wow.
And then he's going to put transformers on each 36-acre lot. So it's just kind of a fluke thing that I called him on a house and he's told me about this huge lot that he's trying to get out from under.
That's great. Well, like I say, maybe there's room in there for you to get something, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to meet him whenever he's got the 36-acre split.
Yeah, I mean,
plat ready.
That's a section and a half. That's a section and a half, right?
Yep, that is. It is. It's a section plus 200 so acres. Section and a third. Somewhere around there.
Hey, so those folks watching, you got any questions for Josh? You got a knowledgeable land guy here, and if you do, have at it. He's also, like I said, experienced with these modular homes. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about, the upside. Give us the upsides, the pros and cons of pre-built or manufactured homes, as you call them.
Yeah, to me, some of the main things are the factory that I have an account with is they make quality homes, so that's a first. I'm not selling like these vinyl, these crap ones that come out of. Yeah, it's a decent home. Secondly, they've already been engineered to meet national standards. So you're not trying to figure out like a spec built home. You got to hire an engineer for your local area to meet the local codes. These already meet all the national codes. So it's kind of plug and play. You pretty much, and then knowing the permitting business around me, I can get a permit for them very quickly. I've got decent connections at the county, and not that goes anywhere. I just know the process really well. And then finally, if you know the right people and get all your subs and have a good working relationship, you can get one up in 90 days ready for sale.
Okay, so you decided, I'm going to put a home here. You just sold the one you got, and you got your money. You'll be 90 days, you'll have a home ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful. See, that's what it used to be for me to build a home. I could get a home built in that much time. But now there's the bureaucracy with the permitting is so horrible. A couple questions here for you. Richard wrote, are you making the modular homes into real estate, or are they still personal property? I think they become full on real estate. Yeah,
they become real property. You do what's called a fixture of a home, and then So prior to that, it's vacant land, but in title, you do an affixture of home and it becomes real property.
Right. I think it's a UCC code prior to that or something probably. And now it's once it's affixed, wheels are gone. It's real property.
Yep.
So
Yeah. You just have to fill out a form, record it with the county.
let's see. Lucian wrote the Lucian. I guess it says, "What do you look for buying land, rural and around the city? Is there an ideal acreage?" Um, yeah, Hardy, you go ahead and answer that one if you want. I mean,
It all
he's
comes
in a
down,
rural area, anyways. Yeah, but go ahead.
yeah, and it doesn't matter where it's at. It's all numbers. I don't, but I guess if I'm, it's all numbers. I have a local GIS map. Everybody does, and I'll just click around, find stuff. You'll come across death certificates. You can look at expired listings, contact those people. Um, but yeah, no floodplains, no
Yeah,
floodways, FEMA. Yeah, power nearby is one thing.
yeah. You want to make sure
Transformers.
it's not in a floodplain, and we're talking about like 100-year floodplain's okay, right? It's anything tighter than that, or how's that work for you where you're at?
So there's 100 year, so there's FEMA, and then there's local floodplains. And then so I look at FEMA because that means flood insurance for
Right,
the end buyer and also potential engineering. So I don't buy anything within a FEMA floodplain or floodway unless there's a building envelope on the property that will allow me to meet all the setbacks away from that flood zone to where it basically doesn't even matter. Like if I can build out, if there's a little building envelope outside of that still on the lot, that's okay. As long as the price is right. Because even if you're outside of that floodplain, let's say you have a lot and half of it's covered in
right,
floodplain,
sure.
but you can build out of it. There's no flood insurance on that portion.
On that portion, right? And but it has to be completely out of 100-year, or can it be in the 100-year, or what is the tolerance for any floodplain?
The main standard basis for flood insurance through FEMA is a 100 year floodplain. So anything, I don't really know of anything below that. Like I don't know of a 50 year. I just go off of
They're
FEMA's, which
just
is
they're
100 year.
active, yeah. And I took a property. I had 50 acres that had it was cut. It was at like a 15 and 35 above it, and I had a creek that ran through it, and right in the middle of that creek, I had a 24-inch sewer main that had been running there before I bought it, and so it was beautiful. But I still had to improve this wash, call it a wash, if you will, and it really I spent probably $24,000 on a FEMA. I had to pay an engineer to whatever make a book about that thick, and then I had to get a couple of D6s and trench through and just kind of clean up the corners. And it really wasn't that painful. It took me a couple of years playing with it and maybe 24,000. But I made a couple $1 million on this piece of property, and so it was for what I had to do to improve it. Plus, I bought it under market number one. But yeah, so FEMA wasn't that painful for me. It is kind of pains. The waiting for something to be approved, especially if it's a government agency, especially if you've had my experience with government, it's very uncomfortable because you don't know if it's going to be forever. It can be forever sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but it's been
And
pretty good.
if your end buyer is some like to the solution, this person on the chat here, if your end buyer is a builder, that can be off-putting to them. You may get it at a steal, all these things, but they just strictly maybe that person strictly does not mess with flood because
Yeah,
then they're gonna get. That's the other thing on the end for the end user, like that buyer. Even if everything goes right, you're gonna get tied up in with state permitting. I mean, I don't know how it is in other states, but you're gonna
yeah,
get tied up in permitting.
yeah. It's crazy. I was reading. What was it? Yeah. I saw Adam Carolla on some show the other days in California. They had all the fires out there up in what do they call that in the hills there?
Palisades.
Palisades, Pacific Palisades. Yeah, thanks. And I used to have a beach house. I've been out there, and I just not too far from Malibu. I was in a place called Oxnard, which next to Ventura, which we called Hollywood by the Sea. Looked at the Channel Islands, and everything's built on sand. There's piers maybe pounded in the ground, 12 feet. House sits there since 1920, no problem at all, And but now, if you're building over in Malibu, they're having you they're having you drill down 70, 80 feet for a caisson. I mean, it costs almost $3 million for the slab now. And there's no reason for it. But what it is they don't want you to build. They don't want you to build.
Yeah.
Because, so you got all these houses that have been there since 1928, and there's some old homes there. But if you want to build your new home, you're going to spend $3 million on a slab. It's just a way of discouraging development. And so it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, they have same is happening around here. We blew up and we're getting we're still, growing. And so they've made a 2030 plan, like a 5-year plan. And yeah, regulations as it have increased crazy amounts just in the last year and a half, year. And it is, yeah, to curb density. And yeah.
Hey, just for the heck of it, let me share. Let me share. We'll go on Google Earth here. We'll see how you see it and how the folks see it, and because then you can comment on this too. But I'll show you something. Let me do this. Okay,
Another thing too, if I can, just to add to the guy in the chat, the Seleucian. Also, how I started is I got going with big lots that I got on notes, and then I would put as little down as I could, and then I split those big lots up, and then flipped them, paid off the note, and made my profit.
Right, and and every area has its perks, right? Like there's some, some cities are food park friendly. Some people are builder friendly. Some people are not builder friendly. And you happen to be in an area where I consider it very builder friendly. And where he can actually, Josh here can actually subdivide a property very quickly and make things happen very quickly. Where a lot of you, you can't, it'd take you years for you even get a shovel in the ground. But hey, real quick, I guess I'll plug the course here a minute. Those of you, if you're not already familiar, let me hit share screen here. And go here. So what I want to show you is Josh is just one of the many success stories at Flip Anything University. Hey, by the way, Josh, I need to get your shirt size so I can send you a new shirt.
Heck yeah.
So you see these your alumni in here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so actually, Josh, you're in here somewhere. Yeah, back a couple years ago, I guess, when I interviewed you. But Chris was on here the other day. All these students, some have made hundreds of thousands, some have made multiple millions in the last 5 years that I've been doing this stuff. All in a lot of different places, different ways, all different states. And if you really have an interest in learning about real estate, you'd be in the best company, Josh, would be in your school, and everybody becomes such a great asset in the class to everybody else. So urge you to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and as soon as you can, you want to get the skills, get the skills that'll take care of you forever. It's such a huge deal. Let's see. I'm not even sure if the folks out there can see us. Is everybody else following us on YouTube? Can you see what's going on?
It looks like it has frozen.
I see that. Oh well, it's because I did this share. Let me undo that. I'll have to work these bugs out. Okay, here we go again. All right, now we're back. I'll share with the class here. What was I going to show you? Oh, what were we talking about? I got on the caissons, and
It's a trip too, because I've been trying to put my friend on, who's, he's a good guy, family guy, works and a lot. And it's just crazy how you try to teach people this stuff, and some people they can't. Not that I'm anywhere crazy, I'm comfortable, but yeah, they just can't see through the paradigm shift. They can't get there. They just think it's impossible, or you got lucky or something like that. And I've presented him with deals. I'm like, man, take this deal, get it, and they just don't pull the trigger.
yeah, like I say, I'm trying to fix the screen. Me and Josh see each other fine, but the YouTube public is not seeing it so good. Son, what can we do to hit refresh on here? Maybe we can refresh this thing. Huh. What do you think?
Do you have? Are you still screen sharing with
No.
Google Earth?
Well, no, I am not actually. Um, Take a look at this, and maybe we have a. I'm not sure what we can do. Can hit start and stop. Let me hit again. Yeah, I don't have like a refresh mode on this thing, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know why. Not sure what I can do about that, son. Well, folks, sorry about that. You're just going to have to listen. This is going to be, for you who's watching, we'll just keep going here, and you guys can listen in. You don't really need to, sorry about that, everyone, but you just have to listen in. This is a radio show now.
Nice.
That's okay. That's okay. But I'm still recording this. For what you guys missed, I can put it back so you can actually see us talk. But hey, we're just talking anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But so hey, how many kiddos you got now, and what ages are they?
I got three. My daughter turns 7 tomorrow, and then I got a son who's 5, and then another son who's 2.5.
Wow, nice. That's a nice bunch, man.
Yeah,
That's great.
I know.
How old are you
We'd
now?
like to have some.
Yeah,
I'm
42,
I'm old.
43.
Well,
I know you.
yeah, 43. 43.
43. I remember your 40th birthday.
Yep. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was a
cool.
big surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah, my wife.
yeah.
Go ahead.
It was very thoughtful. His wife reached out and asked me to just give a video message, which I did. And but yeah, it's been cool. It's just like family. I'll tell you, we got so many people in the class now, and you just kind of grow up with them, right? You see people. Changing, and what's funny is Rich, who's in the class, he got the Elon Musk letter, right? Said, hey, what did you do in the last week? Trying to figure out if he's and I remember Russ said, he goes, yeah, look, I'm kind of irreplaceable around here. And then a week later they said, hey, how'd you like to quit? You know what I mean? Which is kind of humbling, I guess. But at the same time, it was really not a problem because Rich had just made $2 million on one deal, and so he said, "I'm taking." Like I said, I'm taking the way out. But it was perfect timing because he got the letter. And then he got this deal. A deal that made me envious. In fact, I offered him $500,000 to take it over, and but he made it happen for himself, and now he's going to make a couple $1,000,000 minimum. And coincidentally, same time another student did in Portland. But yeah, so it's just really, really neat seeing people become independent investors. You're a full-time investor. Chris is a full-time investor. Rich, Russ, a lot of people that were working are now independent, investors and making it happen. And it's just the best life, right? There's nothing better, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but my worst nightmare is having to go back to work. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
obviously, aside from tragedy and things like that, but I
sure,
mean, I just sometimes, and this is no knock on anybody, and if I had to, I'd put my boots on and get in a trench if I had to provide.
sure.
But, I'll be at a restaurant and I'm like, man, you just have to stay here and you have to work and you have to smile at me. And so I always try to tip well and stuff like that because I do appreciate that that side of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, my worst nightmare is not my
Hey,
worst nightmare. You know what I'm saying?
listen, there is dignity in all work. There's dignity in
Absolutely.
all work. And, we're, we like to think it's, everything is, merit based, but some people get a better break than others. You know what I mean? We all get kind of a better break being born in the USA. Some of us, are born at the right time or in the right place. There's a lot of people that could be Bill Gates, but they just weren't exposed to the things at the right time. There's a certain aspect of luck for me too. You know what I mean? And but the one thing I'll tell you is the harder you work, the luckier you get. You got to keep yourself out there.
Absolutely.
You got to keep yourself out there exposed, meeting new people, talking to people, put yourself in difficult positions or uncomfortable to you. Some people, it's all about tolerances, right? I always think about this sort of thing, especially when you have a kids and family and, different things, you become a dad or whatever, you become more sensitive in a lot of ways than maybe you were prior to that. And, but I think there's just, nobody should ever give up because you can be assured of a very comfortable life as long as you try. Now, doesn't mean you're going to be a billionaire or mega millionaire. I'm sure everybody can be a millionaire, to be honest, but being a super successful is never quite assured. You can get hit with bad luck. You can get hit with bad health. There's things that slow people down, and but overall, I just think that like I say, there's dignity in all work, and there's definitely work hard. People recognize it, see it, and opportunities will open up for you. But because it's just people that want, I get people when I get in the mentorship and they say, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. I go, what? No, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job to become an investor. Make some money and let it kind of happen more organically. You know what I mean? You start getting so busy you can't work. That's probably the time to quit your job.
Yeah, and that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And going to your tolerances comment, there's a on the flip side of a positive or a high tolerance for things, there's also for me, I had to become fed up. Like I was like, I'm just done. I'm
I
sick of
remember you
this.
had a really unpleasant person that you had to work with. It was a woman, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, she looked like a linebacker, but yeah, technically she was a woman. Hopefully she doesn't see this.
Yeah. I remember when you were a little bit more worried about her seeing it when you actually worked there still.
Oh yeah, she called me into the office, wrote me up, said to my face, "Why? So we can spoil your land deals and all this other stuff." And because it was a government job, and we were, and yeah, and man, and it was during COVID. They were trying to make us wear all those masks all the time, and yeah, and I held off. I made 80 grand off of one deal. Well, that was my first deal actually. Well, my first main deal.
Right.
While I was working there, and I could have quit, but I was like, I still couldn't make that paradigm shift. I was still a slave mentality.
But you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Oh yeah, and the darkness became so deep where I was at that the light became brighter, and I just put it. She chastised me one last time. I took it, I smiled, and then I thought about it for 24 hours, and then came in the next day and gave her my letter of resignation. And I was like, come what may,
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Nice. Yeah. There's this old guy that he's probably dead now, but he dated my mom a long time ago, and his name was Buddy Byron, and he had a little '59 Volkswagen, and he probably still had some of the first money he saved when he was 15, but he would buy houses. He was proud that he never bought any food. He would go to an auction and he would buy the dented canned goods that came out of these stores. And so he had tons of cans, food that was dented. He'd live off of that. He's proud that he never bought any clothes. And because he'd take the clothes out of the rentals that he sold, And he'd wear those, and
No.
I'm telling you, he had some weird looking stuff that he was
Right.
wearing. I'm like, dude, spend some money. But I mean, he was extreme. He was extreme. He actually would take a piece of gum and rip it into 7 pieces, and that was one stick would last a week.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was a millionaire then, and I ended up renting a house from him. And it was a really interesting guy. And I remember I came out on his property and talked to him. And his house kind of looked like a nice house, but it was a facade. Behind it was like a trailer almost stuck to a facade of a house. And he showed me, I'm telling you, this interesting guy, he showed me a well that he dug by hand. It was like 60 feet deep, brick lined.
Wow.
Just, he had like the old school, And this out in Lancaster in the desert. And he had a 59 Cadillac, pristine condition, sitting on his property. He also had a Ranchero that was a black, like a Ranchero, like a 59 Ranchero. I never seen him one before. But anyways, just a really interesting guy and super, super frugal, crazy frugal. But
Hey, we got a question here in the chat from JC Sap1. He asks, do you buy homes from the manufacturer or closeouts from dealers? I think he means wholesale, maybe wholesales. I don't know. I have an account with the manufacturer, with the factory, the dealer. And so,
yeah, maybe he's talking
I
about
would
foreclosures. Maybe he's talking about foreclosures there. And maybe there's opportunities like that. But I guess you have to tear them down and move them if that was the case, possibly. Or you get the land.
I
with
think
it.
I think he's asking, do I have an actual direct account with the factory, the manufacturer, or there's also wholesalers who have dealers licenses and they'll flip homes for like 10 grand
Yeah,
or
so you
something.
don't have a middleman between you. Yeah, so I think,
No.
yeah, and actually, he's in the class, actually. Yeah, he's never, he's probably not seen you, but yeah. But yeah, he is factory direct. He is a dealer. You are a dealer.
Yeah, I am a dealer.
Yeah.
And to get that, I just called the dealer and found out I looked up on LinkedIn who was their accounts manager guy, called him, I sent him an email, left him a phone message. He called me back. We set up a meeting. I drove down to the city, met with him, and then showed him what I had done with land. And then coincidentally, somebody had called. I had the day I was going down there, my buddy, I talked to him who also was a dealer, and he said, "Hey, I'm willing to put in a word for you and tell him what you've done with land just to verify." And he did that. And then when I met with him, I went home with a dealer's account basically. I had to apply for the state for a dealer's license and take a test as well.
Well, so yeah, but generally when a manufacturer deals with you direct, they get a lot of stories from people that are just trying to avoid a dealer and buy one trailer, and so
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're just vetting you. They want to see that you have land and that you actually are, you are not just a one-time buyer. And
Yeah.
I have owned companies where we do the same thing. We say we want to be a dealer. You got to buy enough for 20 people, or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they could get stiffed too because this is a nice thing. It's 25% down and then you pay the rest upon delivery
Oh, nice.
or once it leaves the factory, I mean.
Right. And what's the average cost for a home these days? Without.
It really depends on upgrades and floor plans, but my personal homes, I don't know if I should say because you're supposed to keep all that stuff private.
Yeah,
But
keep it private. But what's the average square footage?
the average square footage for the homes I do are between 1493 and 1792. So 1500 or 1800, somewhere within that range.
And what's the footprint look like on that? Just a rectangle, or what's that look like?
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so on a would you say 1500? So what's that? Maybe 30 by 50?
That's 28 by 52
Okay,
or 28 by 56 actually.
I got you.
I don't know, it's 28 by 52. Uh, Oh no, it's 27 by 56 or something like that. This last house was 27 by 50, but they always have these weird numbers like 26 foot and 1 inch.
Right. What else? Well, anyways, man, you know what? For those of you guys watching, I can amend and put video back onto this so you can actually see, because I do have the video captured on that we're seeing, but we just lost it. So hey, you guys in the audience, I assume you enjoy this. It's been really great for me. I really always enjoy talking to you, Josh, and it's just neat. Is it cold where you're at?
Right now, we just had a cold drop, and I don't know if you guys have had crazy weather in where you're at, but it's been pretty crazy here as far as rain. We've had, yeah,
Fortunately
ridiculous
not.
rain.
It's just been nice. It's been nice. I'll be going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to Colorado here Sunday, but and it's but it's been pretty stable here. So
Yeah, it's nice here. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it dropped to 30 last night, which is pretty dang cold. But it's been nice, 70, sunny. So that's nice for me.
oh yeah, agreed. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time and sharing so much as you have, and maybe we can do it again. Or I just really want to just keep collaborating and talking to students. To be honest, it's just so much more real. And so
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you taking the time as well and all your insights as usual. You always uh, slap a little reality. Not that I wasn't, it's only 10 days on the market. I'm not, I knew I had to leapfrog it, but it's always
yeah,
nice to hear from you and
sure.
just have you say, yeah, leapfrog,
No, you
you
know
know?
what? I was saying that to Chris the other day. I said, you know what? Your instincts are there. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's just nice to hear it from a peer or somebody you respect to go, yeah, you're thinking the right thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure. You can be on an island sometimes. And
Yeah, and I mean, I could encourage you to do this, and maybe you're leaving 10, 15,000 on the table. Who knows? I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's just so much better to be safe and secure. And
I actually have a quick question. Not that you know the numbers or anything, but I'm thinking of leapfrogging, and it's 30 grand, probably what I'll do. I'm thinking of listing, I'm at 379.9
yeah,
now, which is about the median for what's out there now. And my home is a bit nicer. I'm thinking of knocking 30, I'm thinking of going 30,
349.
345, yeah, 349 or 359, and right in the description, I'll pay 10,000 towards closing costs. Do you have any thoughts on that, or just go for the 349,
Just go
or
for the
no real thoughts?
349 because that just hits you like that. 349 is way more powerful because it's a number
Yep.
that is being compared to everybody else's. But on that, what I
Yep.
do will tell you is that when I do want to sell something, I want to get rid of something, and I'll tell the agent, I'll purposely put in the first, in the description, something that gives a little inkling of desperation. Even though I'm not desperate, I'm just inviting people to bargain
Right.
down. And so I'll say,
Hmm.
seller is motivated. That's all it takes. You know what I mean? Oh, well, he's
Yep.
motivated. This is the price he wants, and he's motivated. That means there's room to take a little off. And that's me just trying
Yep.
to let him have that and let him know that. But like you say, you can say, carpet allowance. I mean, I'll do stuff like that, or whatever. Some sort of an allowance, like you're saying. And but yeah,
And I'll probably go to the agent too. We have a good relationship. He's like a huge land guy around here, old rancher,
oh,
and I use him strategically. Like we have a good relationship, but I also it's a good, you know,
sure.
thing to build that relationship. I'm also thinking about hitting him up and being like, look, I want to fire sale this thing. Will you take a percent off? It's not a lot, but it'll save me 3.5 grand.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'll
no,
probably do
listen.
that too.
Well, Josh, listen. I only give 4.5% listings, just so you know. Three to this. I do three to the selling agent, and 1.5 to the. One. I mean, my seller's agent gets 1.5, and it's always three
Yeah,
for the buyer's agent. Buyer's agent's the most important person. That's just how it is.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to, I mean, I got the photos, I wrote the description.
No,
I
listen.
did,
You're giving him too much. You got to take
oh,
one
I
and a
know,
half
but I
off.
want to make sure it's done right. Or yeah, on the work side. Last time I let him go, if it was just, okay, I shouldn't be too negative, but
No,
you know how it
it's too
is.
easy. Listen, it's like putting it in the
Yeah,
phone book, okay? It's like you're
yeah,
putting it in the MLS, and by the way, also everybody knows. I don't care whether I'm the buyer or I'm the seller, I'm going to do all the work. I am going to sell it. I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to make the buy. In other words, an agent I talked to today, I got a nice property, which you got to say thanks, Rich, if you're listening. Rich actually threw me a bone today on a property. And then that agent called me, and I said, man, and he wasn't the agent. I said, man, let me just talk to the agent directly. I said, you're in the loop. You're going to get your piece. Just let me. He goes, oh, that's great. And then I talked to that agent, who's also a principal on the property. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're going to do all the work. I am too. Or we're going to do the most important work, which is doing as much of the sales end on this side as a seller. And you've already taken the pictures. You know the property better than anybody. You want to be in the room because you're the one who can sell it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I totally get it. But I never feel bad about giving a listing agent only 1.5%. And I'm sure a lot of agents don't like that. I already know. But the fact is, listen, you can have those agents that are listing agents that are listening that are upset. Listen, you can have 4.5%. You just have to sell it. Okay.
Exactly.
But if all you're going to do is list it, you get 1.5 with me.
Yep.
So, yeah. There used to be a joke, and I don't mean it completely, but they'd say, never feel sorry for a real estate agent that loses everything because they never earned it anyways. So.
Oh, for sure, man. I got feelings towards agents for sure, man. Yeah.
And I, like I say that with tongue in cheek, but
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, always a pleasure. Thanks so much, and say hi to your wife for me, and keep up the good work. It's really fun. It's really fun. It really is fun.
Yeah, I agree. Same. Always a pleasure on this end too, and I appreciate all your insights, Tom.
All right, Josh. Well, thanks again, and I'll let you know when this posts. And if send me your shirt size, and I'll send you one of these babies right here.
Sounds good. I'm a large.
Okay, you got it. It's I'll have to.
Right on.
You can text me your most recent address because you probably sent it.
Yep,
to me.
you got it.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right. Okay, we can. Yeah. All right. Well, that was interesting. We'll try to amend this to the very end, and please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, and I'm going to kill it here. He's gone, and but those of you watching, sorry we had the problem, but I plan on doing this venue a lot more, where we do a live Zoom. I've got super fantastic students, and everybody can come away a winner and learning stuff, and so thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.